Welcome to another edition of the Change Exchange. And today, this is happening on the internet. We have someone who more or less lives on the internet, at least makes his living there, Seth Rotherham. You are so welcome.
Thank you for having me, Rita. Great to be here.
You were 22 with a marketing degree and you left for London. Was it exciting? Was it frightening?
Yeah, that was very exciting. I'm an only child, and my mother informed me that after my degree I would not be moving into a digs, and I should look at exploring outside. And
kicked you out of the nest.
Basically, yeah. And there was they had the 2-year working visas then for the UK. So I went with my friend Chuck, and we went to London. Although I had a degree in marketing, I also had IT skills just from being an only child, and I had a computer from the age of 6, so I was always taking them apart and making little programs, etc. So I went there, and it happened to be the IT boom. I mean, there's no planning there, so I faked it until I made it on my CV, and got the jobs.
What was it like being in London at that point in time, on your own, having to make it?
It was nuts. I think the biggest thing was the exchange rate, which shocked me. I think just having the freedom to kind of do what you want for the first time. I mean, I stayed at home. I was very free. I had my own car. I had a little flatlet outside. But to actually be out there and not beholden to anyone was quite a daunting thing, but certainly exciting. And I had a budget, and it was all about getting a job in time before the money ran out, and that was exciting. That kind of drives me. That's kind of planning ahead, need to move because that'll end. Yeah, but it was very, very exciting, and it was two or 3 years of fun. I mean, the IT boom was weird. They were paying a lot of money for IT skills, and they didn't really know what to do with you. It was a weird thing. I mean, someone needs to make a documentary about it. I'd do nothing for days on end and be paid. I mean, then even now it sounds like a lot. It's a good £25 an hour, And by the time I left, which was when the bubble burst, the rand was 20 to 1. So we were carrying on like rock stars at the same time as having to go to work, etc., but not really doing work. It was a weird time, but it was definitely fun, and we lived in a digs there, and it was cool.
Why did you come back? Did you consider staying?
Yeah, I considered getting the British passport if you stayed there for I think 4 years, but I had already done 2.5, 3 years. I got a little bit. You can get miserable in London. I don't think I was miserable, but I was definitely like, I think I've done my thing here. It was fun. I'd like to get home and see what I can do there. It was also, the internet was starting to get going. I thought that there might be opportunities in that back at home. So I think I extended my visa for another six months. So it was 2.5 years. And I just said, cheers, Chuck, my mate, I told you about, he stayed for like a decade. He got the passport and everything. But I'm not too phased about passport things. I'm fine with the South African passport. It's... I'm very, very positive about home, so I came back.
And you came back, and how did you earn your living here? You started a blog, Two Oceans Vibe, almost immediately, but I mean, surely there wasn't money in it in the beginning.
No, I started Two Oceans Vibe on this site. There was no intention to kind of make money out of it. I started realizing I could make money out of it a little bit later. At the start, it was just to kind of just to vent my own kind of stuff, just to write about stuff. I never used to do well at writing at school, and I think at school you're always trying to write like Wilbur Smith, or you're trying to write like these people who you read from, The Lord of the Flies, etc. And then on Two Oceans Vibe, I started writing humorously about observations, about things in town or things that we had done, and kind of pointing fingers at that and kind of stirring a little bit. And it was amazing the response, and people used to find it very humorous. I'm a humorous-ish kind of guy, and I really allowed myself to explore that side. I remember writing these long stories, but really going over it 9 or 10 times and making it as funny as I could, and people responded to that, and that gave me a kick, and that was just a side thing. So
sorry, but I mean, this was what, 2002? 2002-ish?
Yeah.
So blogs were, I mean,
They weren't around then. It was
no one
just, it
knew
was
about
literally fun.
So
I had
how
no
did
idea.
you find an audience?
It was my friends. It was, 2001, 2002. No one except me out of my friends had a digital camera. No one really had email, but they had access to the internet on their parents' computer, something like that. So it was that kind of scene. So I would make it my job when we go out to take the pictures and stuff, and we'd go to Caprice in Camps Bay, which was and still is the home of Two Oceans Vibe, the kind of spiritual home. And you in a place where you've got these beautiful sunsets, you've got palm trees, fast cars, beautiful people, cocktails. I mean, it works, it sells, it's not hard. If I did have to do the same thing and I was in a dorp somewhere, I don't think it would have been as
Wouldn't quite
popular.
work for Victoria West.
No, because if you look at like a travel agent's window, it's, what is it, palm trees and sunsets and things like that. That's what people, it's like a universal appeal. So I was the one with the camera, so I had the digital content and I had a bit of know-how in terms of writing. It turns out that writing style is actually more normal now in terms of people talking how they talk instead of trying to talk like Wilbur Smith. So I moved in with friends of mine from school. They became Stormers rugby players. So I was in a household with guys who were my age and they were all earning much more. So there was definitely a drive to kind of catch up, and that's when I got the first job in Cape Town, which was a company that was starting, which would rent luxury villas and homes on the Atlantic seaboard to the Americans and English, Australians, etc. Now, of course, the local people on the internet weren't aware of Google, but the Americans and the English, they were ahead of the game and they were using Google the whole time, which means it wasn't hard to
Make the connection.
rank high up on Google. If you make a website, it'll do well. If they're searching for Cape Town luxury home, we did well and we learned about Google searches and it wasn't hard. I mean, now if you try to get into the accommodation game in terms of Google searches, it's hard and it's a lot of money. So there was that. So we started renting out these homes.
And in the process, you created a whole new personality because you weren't born Seth Rotherham.
No, that's true. Yeah, I was born William Mellor, and I'm still him. But what happened there was the homes that you're renting out. They're owned by very prominent
Upright citizens,
upper crust, etc. Prominent businessmen and people that you would know, and then you're also renting out to the likes of Nicolas Cage or. If you take away the stars, there's still serious kind of business people and prominent people from England and the rest. So, as we discussed now, the contents in 2002 on Two Oceans Vibe, it was just fun for my mates. I mean, no one even knew about it. It was just my friends and their friends, maybe. It was building, and it was fun. There was a bit of flicking here and there, and the odd compromising photograph, etc. Nothing scandalous, but. I just felt it would be smart just to use a different name. There was no intention to turn Seth into a character.
And when did you realize that there was now this other persona?
It was when people started calling me Seth. And then, now if someone says Seth, I do turn my head. But then I wouldn't turn my head and they'd call Seth, Seth, Seth. And you'd eventually look and you'd go, oh yeah, it's me. So it did take time. And then the kind of media used that name. So the media heard about blogs. Two Oceans Vibe was going. So South Africa had the blog awards, which I would win every year. But mainstream media was still ignoring blogs until they had to write something about it. So they started writing about blogs, and I was the go-to blog, which was like a self-fulfilling thing, because then the mainstream press are talking about Two Oceans Vibe and Seth, and then it gets bigger and bigger, and the readership gets more and more. So I mean, I certainly wouldn't start a blog now. I mean, it's hard work now if you want to get out there. But then it was just, it's good luck, good timing, really.
So Seth became your kind of public persona.
Personality, yeah.
For both, for Two Oceans Vibe and your other business.
Yeah, I've got a few businesses, but no. In terms of my main line of work then, which is the villa rentals, all of that, I was still William Mellor, and the point was to have a different name to kind of keep that separate.
Oh, I see.
Because I didn't want to see this kind of swearing and carrying on. If they see me at their house and I'm all smart and meantime I'm khaaning on the website, they'd go like, whoa, this guy's a... but you have to put on a face. I was young then, you know, so you're kind of acting older around these serious people, but then you're actually having a jaw there on the side. It's nice to separate it.
So William is the serious part.
No, it's not actually. It's actually the same guy. But William, yeah, he needs to be a little bit. He's more real. Seth is, you know, William's kind of shy. Like I don't enjoy crowds. I really am shy. But I kind of have to play that up for Seth. If there's like I don't do any kind of public events or things these days unless it's one of my brands, but Seth would. He'd be there with the champagne, etc., etc., and that gets tiring. I'm sure you also had those events and functions and stuff. It's exhausting stuff. It's not something that you want to do. It's fine if you're 22 or so. But as you get older and they're expecting you to still be at those, then you say, guys, Seth's actually a character. Just settle down. William's chilling out. So that's the kind of vibe.
So when you started with Seth, did you foresee that this would be would become a kind of parallel personality?
You know, it's a very hard question because you kind of do something and you don't spend a moment actually having a good think. I wonder if this will happen. It happens in the back of your mind. It's so quick and you don't even know if it's happening, but you go with it and you might laugh to yourself. It'll be funny if this grows into this. I don't think it's something that you like, right, I've made a decision now and that person has to become famous. It just kind of like, that'll be funny. You know, and then it does, you know, then you get your first email from someone who says, how much is it for an article on the site? And you're like, well, this is very interesting. Yeah. I remember the first one, it was a restaurant and I just said 1,000 Rand and then it was a lot of money. You know, I was like 1,000 Rand and they were like, fine. I was like, oh, this is interesting.
I should have said 5.
Yeah, exactly. And then I left it and I didn't jump ship then. I didn't focus on it then until I was earning decent money at the same time. The nice thing about Two Oceans Vibe and the extra little things I do on the side is when you've got something on the internet that's purely on the internet, you can actually moonlight. You can have your job here and you can at night you can write some stories and stuff, or you can have a good weekend and you can write 10 stories and you can time those to come out during the week, which I used to do, a story a day. And then people would think I was writing every day. In the meantime, I'd nailed it on the weekend.
So I don't want to out you.
No.
But you're not living your slogan, I'm sorry. Your slogan says what?
Work is a sideline, we live the holiday.
Live the holiday. You don't do that. You work bloody hard.
People say that to me and I am used to answering it, so I just need to check my answer again. Basically, you write and you're wrong. You write in terms of my diary is quite busy, but you're wrong in terms of I'm doing exactly what I want to do. Like I enjoy writing. I enjoy the businesses I have, the exciting stuff. Like the neighborhood app that we're making, it's called Our Hood, and that is like I'm like a child. I can't sleep at night. It's so exciting. So I don't think you can call that work. I think the typical definition of work in terms of being at sideline is people are thinking about those 9-to-5 jobs where they're not happy. That is work. The other stuff is not. So work as a sideline, I live the holiday. It means doing it. I think it just means doing it on your terms. I mean, I don't do meetings, and I've just kind of structured my life in that way. And I do meetings if I think it's necessary. But I mean, these days people need a meeting for the smallest thing. It's ridiculous. You know, or you mail someone and they phone you. You know, or they like it's weird. Like I mailed you, mail me back. You know, it's all a little bit mixed up, and I've tried to make all these systems to make my life easy. My phone will ring once a day if you're lucky, and it'll be a bank and I won't answer it, and that's that. And they get to the voicemail and the voicemail says, my voicemail's turned off, please don't leave a message, text me. So I've got all these little rules, systems, so that I can live the holiday. I mean, not living the holiday is if your phone's ringing, even if you don't have a job.
To respond to other people's
exactly. If you're like a billionaire and you're doing nothing in the day, but you're stopping everything you're doing the whole time because your phone's ringing, you're not really that chilled out, really. It's like how can people just phone at a time that suits them? Hey? It's not on, and that's a habit from pre-text and pre-email days, and it's a nasty habit. It's rude. It's like, how do you know I'm available now? Sorry, I get very heated about that.
Tell me about Our Hood.
Our Hood.
Where did it start? What you want to do?
It's a business I started with a friend of mine. So his name is Bruce Good, and we were first involved in a project called Name Your Hood, which is a company we founded to give identity to certain corners of the country which don't have names. For example, Gardens City Bowl is a big name. Meantime, the top of Cleeve Street is a neighborhood, and the bottom of Cleeve Street is a neighborhood. It's even got a butcher, a baker, a barber. So that was all about naming these little neighborhoods, and we also landed a government tender to use our system to rename all the Guguletu streets, because they were still called NY1, NY2, Native Yard, NY1. This was 2013. So they used our system, and that was all fun and stuff. And from there, myself and Bruce kind of realized that there's an opportunity for, you got Facebook for your friends, but there's no Facebook for your neighborhood. I mean, people will write on Facebook, I've got does anyone know someone who can walk my dog in Pinetown? I'm in Cape Town, right? It's not based on area, neighborhoods. So we've made this app, Our Hood. It's an app and a website. You have to be verified that you live in the neighborhood to join it. And people are discussing everything from lost dogs to crime to sharing a drill to everything.
How does one turn something like that, which sounds like a brilliant idea, how do you, what's called monetizing? How do you make money out of it? How do you turn it into a business?
That's a big thing. Well, the thing that we've done is we've also included sections like local deals and
so you
lifestyle
get local
section.
Advertisers, basically.
Exactly, yeah. And we also see it as maybe a new way of presenting online shopping to people, because a lot of people are scared of shopping online, certainly on their phone. So we've got a lifestyle section, and you don't have to go into that if you don't want to. But we have a section inside lifestyle called home convenience, right? And if you can just categorize things in a neat and tidy way, you go home and garden, or pool and garden, baby, blah, blah. You're in your house, you're in this safe app, and all the neighbors are your real neighbors, and you just go, baby, cool, nappies. And if we can kind of plug the app into various online websites from, maybe the likes of Woolworths or Takealot, etc. If we can kind of plug them in a very smart way, it might introduce online shopping in a more safe environment.
It sounds as if you just move forward with whatever's in front of you, and you kind of follow it. It's not, it doesn't sound as if there's a fixed business plan for the next 5 years.
No, you're right about that. And that's, like we said earlier on.
And that's part of the live the holiday. You
follow
what you enjoy.
Yeah, you kind of, you don't realize that you're doing things. You kind of try them out. Like I wrote a book now called Work as a Sideline, Live the Holiday. And the book just kind of, I was looking for cane furniture for our home. So my wife and I were keen on genuine cane furniture. And you go to these outdoor shops, and it's that lifetime warranty, 30, 40 grand sets. And you're like, I might not like this thing for the rest of my life. I don't need a lifetime warranty. I just want normal kind of cane. And there's a guy on the side of the road selling this Malawian cane. He's a Malawian chap. And I said, how much is this stuff? And we chatted, and I bought it. And I said to him, you're on the internet? He said, no. I said, cool. So I used the same system every time I try things out. I made this website in a very quick way, photographed the cane, put it on, and it's completely exploded, right? And I've made a book, basically, step by step, saying exactly what I did so that you can do the same. If you have an idea, and if you do my entire thing I say in my book, you will spend no more than 250 Rand, right, on setting this whole thing up. And the point is when you try those things out and they fail, you tell no one knows, you've lost 250 Rand. And that's why I think you saying, there's no plan. There's no plan. You try it out, okay, it fails. And I think the thing is just never to bet the house on it all. Never to put all your eggs in one. If it fails, no one knows. Carry on. If it works, look what I've done. You're so clever. It's just if you have a method that won't take a long time. I mean, it took me a weekend to make the Kane website. And it's just flying, it's just lucky.
And GetJet, is that what you call it? Yeah.
GetJet, that as well. It's not too labor intensive. GetJet is, I got the idea because my folks live in France. So we go to visit them. They used to live in Australia. It's a lot nicer now. No offense to Australia, it's just far.
And France is more or less in the same time zone.
Yeah, in France, the Riviera, it's south of France. It's not the end of the world. And they live in Provence. So we take the car and you go down and just nip into Saint-Tropez, etc. You don't want to spend too much time there with 200 Rand coffees. And you go past Nice airports, and it's obviously it's like a car park of jets. And I just started looking in the mags there, the FT Weekend. I don't know if you read it. Best weekend read. Hey? So the magazine that you love called How to Spend It.
How to Spend It.
It's the best mag.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just these double-page Cartier ads, etc. Yeah. And there's those ads that you would have seen. The Victor. It says Victor, and it's got this big jet, and these guys are climbing out of a jet, but they're on Times Square.
Yes.
And I just said, Victor, go to the website, and they're clearly spending a lot of money. There's clearly a market for it there, certainly. And they market empty leg jet flights. So if you charter a jet from Cape Town to Joburg, if the jet's not here, it has to get to you first. So there's no one inside the jet then. So the charter companies don't mind making a bit of bucks on that flight, because they're not going to make it anyway. So you can offer that leg.
Someone just has to connect.
Exactly. So you offer that leg at like half of what it would have normally cost, or less even, like a third. And
is there a market in South Africa?
There are jets going back and forth, Joburg, etc., and there are loads of them going to the game farms. Your Bushman's Kloof, Mala Mala, etc. But the thing that I realized, I kind of looked at it all, and I realized it won't cost too much to set this up, right? So all you need is to get in there with the charter companies, and I went to Joburg and met with them, and they're all cool guys. I was doing my pilot's license too at the time. I think that also got me excited. I just realized it's not going to cost too much just to set up this website. It's a little bit more Lani than the Kane sites. So I paid a guy not too much money at all, just to have a simple thing. All you need is a listing and the beautiful pics of the jets, right? It's very easy. And the charter companies can load up their own listings, or they can send me the listings. And my staff at Two Oceans Vibe load them up. And the site's there. And then it's not too hard to advertise it either, because the press love that kind of thing. Cheap jets, they love it. So the exposure was good. It gets used a lot in terms of traffic, and there's a booking now and then. But the point is, the bookings, the commission is nice cash. It's not like it has to happen every day. It's nice if it does. But even if you don't land a booking, there's zero expense monthly. So that's what kind of draws me to those kind of things, is how much work is actually required. Like the Kane, my assistant at Two Oceans Vibe, Chelsea, she texts every Kane order to the Kane guy. He does everything else. He brings it into the country, he paints it up, delivers it, everything. And all we do is we deal with the orders. She does.
So you're the marketing arm, almost.
Yeah, and you kind of mention on Two Oceans Vibe, I said it doesn't need to be mentioned that much. If you search for Kane Furniture Cape Town, it's number one, due to my knowledge of how these searches work. And the website's called canefurniturecapetown.coza. And you learn that having the search phrase in the name helps.
Yeah. I won't ask you about future plans and what next and all of that, because I'm sure you don't know yet.
No, future plans, I can say one thing is my wife wants to open a cafe in town called something like Café du Cap. And it'll be very small food side, very basic menu, maybe like an omelette here and there, Frenchy style food, and then selling some caftans and some French homeware, antique stuff, sort of palm fronds, if you can imagine, ferns with a Labrador there, some French music going on, something like that.
Where did you meet her?
Sam, I met many years ago in my teens. We had a crew of mates. There were some guys and some girls, and the one girl in our tight crew, her name is Lindsay. Lindsay's younger sister was and is Sam. So Sam wasn't in our group, but she would always appear now and then, so kind of kept an eye on that. She wasn't too much younger. She was a year or two younger than Lindsay, and still is. And that eventually just 8 years ago, she was in Cape Town and she was working at Woolworths and she had really bloomed. And then
And you said, sure, you grew up.
Well, my friend actually gave me a call and he said, because we all went out, we ran into Sam and Lindsay and we went out and we all had a jaw, and she caught a lift home with my friend. And I got a call that night, and he just said, just a heads up, I don't know if you're interested, but kind of got the feeling that Sam might be. I was like, okay, that's a good heads up. So I called her up and we had a date at my flat. I invited her to watch rugby at my house. Yeah, made her lunch. And then, ever since then.
And what is it that makes it work?
I think the cool thing about Sam is I think the team aspect is great. Is we really do see ourselves as a unit, especially now we've just had baby girl. It's kind of even more. She really is. I mean, a lot of people say this about their wives, and they might not mean it, and they might be divorced the next year. She genuinely is my best friend, and we tease each other a lot. But there's definitely this mutual understanding of us being a unit, and we also we dream a lot together. We always talking about our dreams and our goals to get a little farm here, get a plane, etc., etc. All these dreams that make you want to find ways to achieve that dream. And it's not really I need to do that to get that, but I think just talking about it. I mean, some of those books say, if you imagine it. But it is kind of like that in a less serious way. It's just talking about your stuff, and it's nice to also, I think you learn a lot about each other then. If you're talking about the dreams and you go, oh really, I don't really like it that way, maybe it needs to be like this, and they're like, okay, cool, compromise and stuff, and that's it. Okay, that's a great idea. Let's nail that down. And we talk about our dreams not like they're a dream. We're quite sure about when that dream comes true. Yes. By then we'll be living here or doing that. It's just like a manifestation, I guess, in a less kind of cheesy way. Yeah.
You don't have to walk around it. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
And the new baby girl,
Francesca. She's amazing. She's what's today? Tuesday.
Yeah.
She's 8 weeks. No, she was born Jan 20. She's 8 weeks old, and no, she's amazing. Hey, she's.
Can you remember the moment you saw her for the first time?
I do. She had just. Sam had a normal gynae appointment, and we were told that this baby needs to be born in an hour and a half's time. So that was a moment actually, because if you expect a baby to be born then, you kind of build it up as you get nearer and nearer.
And the baby is still a theoretical concept.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that moment, even more so than seeing the baby, just being told it's coming now, I just started crying immediately, like you would when you see your child. It was like, oh my God, are you joking? When you say it needs to be born soon, do you mean on the weekend? And she said, no, like in an hour and a half. So that was quite a vibe. And then Sam obviously had to have Caesar, and the baby came out. Yeah, I mean, the gynae asked us just before. She said to Sam, what do you think it'll be? And Sam said, boy, because we never knew. And she said, and you? I said, boy. And she said, dang, it's a girl. And I mean, it doesn't matter, of course, as long as the baby's healthy. It was amazing just to kind of see this thing and to watch it operate. I mean, the first 6 weeks, as I'm sure you know, there's not much really going on. But now that we're in week 8 or 9, it's amazing seeing. Now you're seeing new things every day. The baby actually starts to track you walking across the room. And it's amazing how those little things mean so much. And I had my birthday last week, and that was my first birthday as a dad. And it's quite weird. That's also quite a thing. It's almost like your first birthday in a way. It's kind of your first birthday with this thing in your life. It's like a brand new chapter. It's not like a new job is a new chapter. This really is a new chapter. And it's amazing just to watch her, and you have to worry about her, and she's still there in the morning. She doesn't have an instruction manual. But yeah, a
friend of mine had her first baby at 23, and she said to me, you can't put it in the cupboard.
You can't. It's true. It makes such a noise. There's no ways that you could. But yeah, the green pasty poos are quite powerful. But yeah, she's amazing. It's just nice to have. Do you know what I like? Is it really gives you purpose. It's like the rest of it, you start little businesses and you do things and you go on holiday and you do all this stuff and then you do it again, and then you drink and then you get a hangover and you do it. It's just all, I just find it gets quite boring. That's why when Sam arrived in my life, it was at the perfect time. I just turned 30. It's not linked to age, but I just happened to at 30. I was over it. I was done with the jawling and partying. I was bored. I was like, I need more. And Sam came, it was perfect timing for me. And then Francesca or Frankie came along now too, where it's like, I just need a little bit more because all the rest is kind of ticking over and you're achieving little dreams here and there and it's all set. You need a little bit more. So we've got a Labrador first, just to get in the groove.
And your home, where do you live and how did you choose it?
We live in Camps Bay. I've always, I moved straight to Camps Bay when I came back. I moved into the suburbs with the Ruggerbuggers when I came back from London, but then I worked in Camps Bay. So I had that view from when I came back. And then we moved into a flat in Camps Bay with Sam. So I had that view every single day. And it's like the flat was tiny, but that view, it doesn't matter. The flat is tiny. And I just knew that we needed that. So we found a place in Camps Bay. And the house is, it's got that view. It's, because my parents moved to France, I had a lot of their old family furniture, like beautiful pieces and furniture. And Sam's father passed away a while ago, and he also had this very eclectic furniture, very the odd animal print chair, like a beautiful roller desk, and it just all fit in perfectly. And I think the reason why we like the house is it's just all of our stuff, it really is home. And Sam has an amazing eye, and it's just the house is just so fresh and light, and it's fun. We lie to people to avoid going to things, just to stay at home. A lot of people want to get out the house. We try our best to stay at home because we really are. We are just in absolute heaven there, and we got the music's going, and a fire going. It's just our absolute best. It really is. The dog, the baby, music. Yeah, it's cool.
Thank you so much for telling us about you.
Thank you very much.
All the very best. I'm sure there are going to be many more ideas and many more schemes.
Well, we'll see how it goes. If you ever got an idea, please shout.
Good luck.
Thank you very much, Rita.
Till next time. Goodbye.